For cheap D2R items, visit aoeah.com. You get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Check the link in the description. Hello and welcome everybody. In this guide I got some new farming builds for the Bowazon. There are different variants, we can use different types of bows, and we can apply the setup to different needs like magic find, teleport or safety. Last one could be interesting for hardcore players. Fully equipped, this build can easily solo farm in players 8. Let's check out the stats and skills first. We need enough strength for the equipment, but we want to keep that need as low as possible. We skill vitality until we got about 1000 life points without battle orders. That should be sufficient. Hardcore players can take some more life to be safe. All remaining points go into dexterity to maximize damage and attack rating. The main attack is strafe, but I only maxed out the synergy guided arrow here, because 20 points in multi-shot only add 200 to 300 damage in total. That doesn't pay. Instead I also maxed out freezing arrow and cold arrow, so I got a cold attack for single targets, which freezes enemies in some area. Sometimes crowd control can save you from nasty situations, and it's also an option for physically immune monsters. With the passive and magic skills we will put 9 hard skill points in critical strike, so we reach 16 with equipment in the end. The 3 dodging skills get 1 point each, and the remaining points go into penetrate. Otherwise you could skill more defensively and put more points into the dodging skills and less into penetrate. Now about the breakpoints. We will aim for 20% faster hit recovery, and with the teleport setups we will play at 48 or 68% FCR. I chose 2 types of bows because of their attack speed breakpoints. Without Fanaticism Aura, the Matriarchal bow is awesome because it only needs 80% increased attack speed for the last breakpoint. But when adding the Fanaticism Aura, the breakpoints get very low, so we could also use a Grand Matron bow. Ideally the Fanaticism Aura has at least level 14, so 50% increased attack speed are sufficient. Now let's look at the main items I have chosen. Afterwards I will show you the different setups. We will play the Runeward Mist in a GMB or Matriarchal bow. It has some nice base damage, skills, resistances and 100% piercing attacks. That's why I did not put any points into the passive skill Pierce. Also the Runeward adds concentration aura and 20% increased attack speed. We can play different headgear. Vampire Gaze adds dual leech and damage reduction. A giant skull has up to 2 open sockets and knockback. A gully is great for more boss damage. And Andariel's adds 20% IAS and up to 10% life leech. For magic find, Steel Skull is a nice option, as it also has dual leech and 10% IAS. The chest armor is a 40, it has 300% ED, all resistances and life on character level. We put the 40 in all builds, except for the teleport setups, which we will check out at the end. 2 different amulets are nice to use. Atma's Scarab casts amplify damage, which massively increases your damage, and together with the physical Thunder Charm, immune monsters will get huge damage as well. Otherwise the Cat's Eye is always a good choice for its 20% IAS, 25 dex and 30% movement speed. In the end, mobility also is a factor to increase kill speed, and without teleport you wanna run as fast as possible, of course. For immune monsters we still got the freezing arrows. I have prepared 3 different gloves and belts. Laying of hands are great for their attack speed and extra damage to demons. but you can also get knockback by some crafted hit power gloves. These could also add some stats, skills or resistances. For further attack speed we can also put on gloves and belt from the Death and Disguise set. This will add 30% increased attack speed and also plus 15 to all resistances and 8% life leech. The belt also adds Cannot Be Frozen, so we don't urgently need to play a Ravenfrost. Otherwise, String of Ears is a solid belt because it has life leech and physical resistance, and for Magic Find, a gold wrap is great. It also adds 10% IAS. I play Natalia's boots because they fill up my missing resistances. But of course, Gore Riders or War Travelers are nice options as well. Finally, the ring slots. Many setups play Ravenfrost, and you can use the other ring slot to get in some missing leech and resistances. Attributes are always welcome as well, but if you don't urgently need anything of those, you can also decide to put some more Magic Find. In the inventory we got Torch and Annie and a Bonebreaker. For more Magic Find you could also add a Geats. I added lots of charms with faster run walk, attack rating and max damage, but we might also use some with faster hit recovery or resistances. When putting charms with max AR life, you could put less points into vitality and spend more in dexterity. In the weapon switch, all builds use a CTA and a lidless wall for saving strength points. We also take an Act 1 mercenary with a Faith Bow. Ideally it has at least level 14 Fanaticism aura on it. The Merc will wear a Cure helmet and a Chains of Honor. Now about the different setups. With each bow I will build a basic variant, a Magic Find variant, a safety variant for hardcore and a Maxpower variant. Afterwards there are also the teleport settings. Let's begin with the GMB. With the basic variant I play the Death and Disguise set. The 30% IAS plus 20% from the weapon are already sufficient, so we don't need more attack speed on the other items. I added the Vampire Gaze with the Shail rune, so we also get 20% hit recovery, and I play Atma's Scarab, Natalia's Soul, and like I said, all setups play 40. Since we don't need a Ravenfrost here, we can put 2 rings with stats, leech and resistances. Like that we can save many strength points and skill more dexterity instead. This build also has maximum resistances with no further charms in the inventory, and we have more than 20% life leech and some damage reduction. The Magic Find build plays a Steel Skull with a perfect topaz in it and laying off hands, so the attack speed is maxed yet. We add a String of Ears to get back some more leech and damage reduction, and we put a Ravenfrost and a Nagel ring. Boots, amulet and armor stay the same. With the Geats we already get up to 174% Magic Find, and when playing War Travelers we can get above 200% yet, but lose some resistances. For a further Magic Find but less damage you can also tend to play a Cat's Eye, so you can also put on Chance Guards. They also add a bunch of gold find. Now the safety variant. I play String of Ears and Vampire Gaze with an attack speed jewel in it. Like that we've got up to 35% damage reduction. I recommend some craft gloves with knockback here, a Ravenfrost and a rare ring, Atma's, 40 and Natalia's. We only need few charms to max out the resistances, and for hardcore mode feel free to skill more life points and use the defensive skill tree. The Maxpower build has a gully helmet with an IAS jewel in it. The crushing blow is great to shoot down bosses much faster. I also play laying of hands and string of ears, Atmas and a Ravenfrost, a rare ring and gore riders. Now about the matriarchal bow setups. They are built at 80% attack speed, so you don't need the mercenary for maximum attack speed here. The basic variant has laying of hands, a cat's eye and an Andy face. Like that we've got the attack speed yet. Further the build plays string of ears, Natalia's soul, a Ravenfrost and a yellow ring. The Magic Find setup includes Steel Skull and a Gold Wrap with 10% IAS each, a Cat's Eye and Laying of Hands. We play Ravenfrost and the Nagel Ring again, so with the Geats we also get up to 174% MF here. But we cannot add the Chance Guard gloves without losing attack speed. The Safety variant plays the Death and Disguise set, Cat's Eye and the Vampire Gaze with an attack speed jewel in it. The Maxpower setup contains a giant skull with 2 attack speed jewels in it and the Death Disguise set. Like that we have maximum attack speed yet, so we can use Atmas Scarab here. This setup has no damage reduction, but when playing carefully it's not that bad, and the knockback also helps to stay safe. As you can see, there are many different options to combine the shown items for reaching the breakpoints and applying the setup in different manners. Just take them as examples. In the end you can also mix them or add some other items. Just keep an eye on your attack speed. 2 more very useful items. A Crown of Ages has 2 open sockets you can use for attack speed jewels, and it provides all resistances, faster hit recovery and damage reduction. Nosferatu's Coil has 10% IAS and Life Leech on it. Using this belt, the basic GMB setting could maybe look like this. We just replace the Death and Disguise set by Nosferatus and some 20 IAS gloves and put a Ravenfrost for Cannot Be Frozen. Like I said, countless options. Finally, the teleport setups, which of course have to play Enigma instead of 40. Again the GMB first. For a 48% faster cast rate, I recommend an amulet with 18% or more, a ring with 10% and an arachnid mesh. Like that you can choose any helm and any gloves, so it is easy to get the 30% increased attack speed we need on the equipment. For a 68% cast rate we can put the giant skull with 30% increased attack speed, so we can add mage fists for 20% more FCR. With the matriarchal bow we wanna reach 80% IAS again, so we need 60% on the non-weapon items. For a 48% cast rate we play a ring and an amulet again, and we need a coronet, tiara or diadem with 20% FCR and 2 open sockets for attack speed jewels. You can get the missing attack speed from Death and Disguise set, or from Nosferatus and some 20 IAS gloves. For 68% FCR, we need to play a 3-socketed tiara or diadem with 20% cast rate. Like that we can add an arachnid mesh for 20% more cast rate, and 20% attack speed on the gloves are fine yet. So that was a lot of stuff. We have built 12 different variants here, using the same items from the pool I have shown at the beginning. The gameplay should be kinda obvious. In combat just take a good position and shoot down all enemies by strafe. You can also shoot freezing arrows in between maybe, but that's all you do yet. The other skills just work passively. Of course I don't show gameplay clips for each setup this time, that would be a bit too much I guess. So I say goodbye at this point, take care and may the loot be with you.
follow me. Come on. Thanks. Bye.